VZX in and out, please.
Good morning, Brew Homebrew crew. We are going to grab our learning logs this morning and join the morning brew crew. There's a pile up for the morning brew crew.
I got NC Marty in Swan, Ohio. I got KO4 QMM Roger in Umatilla, Florida. And I saw KC5 ZX Daryl in Lubbock.
Sorry about the production problems.
Was there W2PUT in there also?
No, but I'll take that as my opportunity to get in there. Good morning, W2PUT.
Alrighty, I saw your note on the monitor there. That's why I wondered here. Let's see who else. Okay, who else did I miss there? Let's try it again. Kilo Charlie 2 Whiskey Bravo Romeo Mobile. CC2WBR Mobile, in and out. Kilo Delta 9 KXAY. Kilo Delta 9 WXAY, in and out. Alrighty, I'm going to hold it up there. At a Kilo Delta 9. Kilo Delta 9, could you give me your call sign again, please? Kilo Delta 9, Whiskey, X-ray Charlie.
So right now there's the 12 days of QRZ is going on, and if you take you can look that up and find out more information about that. A lot of folks are making contacts and logging them. And some of the folks that are running repeaters are having just opening net sessions where people can touch base and try to achieve their 12 days of QRZ. There's a couple kids on there last night. There's an adorable 3-year-old with their dad on there making some contacts. It's a lot of fun if you tune in during these transitional times. There's some great propagation in the morning and in the evening. So we're just going to tune in and listen and see what we can learn. Remember your learning log and your writing device, or however you're going to use your typing device, whatever it is.
NIF, Richard in Jenison, Michigan. Question of the day for everyone is, what day of the week is garbage day where you live? Good morning, Richard. Good morning. This is November 8th, ATF Foxtrot. I am also the Salvation Army Staff Coordinator for the 20-meter net. And garbage day on Tuesday. And with that, with the pile-up that you've got, I'll turn it back to net control. And 8.5.
The question of the day is, what day is garbage day?
Well, thank you, Richard. Give yourself a great day.
It's Monday here. Garbage day.
Next up, the pride of Blaisdell, New York, KAA-BYU. Good morning, Roy. KAA-BYU, are you still with me?
Just turn down the scope.
It's not. K0 BCT area, Golden Valley.
And it provides us with some other data points.
Good morning, Doc. K0 VZT area in Golden Valley, a suburb of Minneapolis, where it's only 20 degrees right now.
Minneapolis to Michigan.
On the ground. And our garbage day is Friday. Back to you, Doc. K0 VZT.
Thank you, Harry. You have yourself a
another morning brew from WB5ITT. Apologies for my voice this morning. Did a lot of shouting Saturday at AT&T Stadium in Arlington for my alma mater, who won the state high school football championship, first time in 48 years. That was a good game. 48 degrees, actually 46 degrees this morning down here in southeast Texas, driving the Motiva, more radio programming. Trash day, well, that's tomorrow and Friday at the house, so gonna wheel out the car tonight. Hope everybody's having a good Monday morning. WB5ITT Mobile. Next up, W4RSR, Randy in DeLand, Florida. Good morning.
4RSR, Randy here in DeLand. Garbage day is today and Thursday being yard waste, but 53 degrees here down here in DeLand, and kind of cool. We had that storm go through, so we'll send it right back to you, W4RSR.
All right, thank you, Randy. Glad the storm wasn't too bad anyway. Next up, N3 VGX, Marty in Swanton, Ohio. Top of the morning, Marty. N3 VGX, are you still with me? Right along. How about KO4 QMM, Roger down in Umatilla, Florida?
Good morning, Scott and the Brew crew. Yeah, I was just thinking about them old burn barrels of the 70s. It's kind of nice to stand around one this morning, 53 degrees. But yeah, our garbage is on Tuesday. Before noon usually matters if the truck breaks down or not. So that's that, and play some radio today most likely, and I thought I was going to get a new country this morning with that pileup you had. So good to hear you, Scott. Sound like you're having fun. Enjoy it, my friend. KO42MM.
Oh, we're having fun, Roger. Don't you worry about that. You have yourself a great day, and thanks for joining us this morning. Next up, KC5CZX. Daryl in Lubbock. Good morning, Daryl.
Good morning to everyone on the net. KC5CZX. Our track days are Tuesdays and Fridays here. We have a dumpster right outside, and they just get it. That's KC5CZX.
2 trash days. There must be a lot of trash.
All right, thank you, Daryl. Appreciate you joining us this morning. And there are some weeks I could use a dumpster, to be honest. Next up,
Couldn't we all?
W2PUT, Dan up in Milan, Michigan. Good morning.
Oh, he's in Milan.
Good morning. Oh, I think Marty in Swanton, I think he said he was in and out. Maybe realizing that's what I come up when they heard that after he dropped some receivers. So, trash day around here is Tuesday. So, we'll be taking our trash out tonight. Back to you, WCPC.
All right, thanks, Dan. Have yourself a fine day and appreciate you joining us this morning. we had KC2WBR, Chris was in and out. Next up, 89 WXC, Roger in Petersburg, Indiana. Good morning.
Good morning there on the Brew Crew. Well, I actually am in Bavaria, Florida for the win. But anyway, my crash day is about on Thursday, and
I like the
so anyway,
Brew
we'll be
Crew.
getting
That's a good name for a morning.
I'll get
Yeah.
back to that.
All right, thank you, Roger. Enjoy your time in Florida. And we had KE8WAY, Ryan in Martin, Ohio, was in and out. Alrighty, folks, this is W2BLT. Let's take some Echolink stations. Echolink stations only, because I know they have a hard time getting in when there's pileups.
All right, Learning
Echolink
Logs.
stations,
What's
please come
Echolink?
now, twice and slowly.
If you don't know what it is, figure out what the Echolink is.
Kilo Quebec 8 uniform. KQ8.
And why would he take a break for the Echolink, folks? And why do they have a problem
Whiskey
piling
2
in?
Alpha Juliet Romeo W2 AJR. Kilo Charlie 3 Foxtrot South Delta. Kilo Charlie
it's
3
dust on the bird
Foxtrot
here.
South Delta.
Whiskey 2, Hotel, Charlie, Bravo, Wet, Workshop, Mobile. Hotel Charlie, Bravo, a very wet Workshop, Mobile.
Kilo Charlie 4, Bravo, Bravo. KC4BB. In and out today, Scott.
KE2 GHG Kilo Echo 2 Charlie Hotel Echo.
Kilo Echo 8. Sierra Mike November. Kilo Echo 8. Sierra Mike November.
Alrighty, we'll hold it up there, and I gotta say, I've never had, a run of 7 stations come through so courteously that I did just now. Let's recognize from the bottom up, we had KE8SMN, Jeff, KE2CHE, Rich, KC4BB, George in Elkmont, Alabama was in and out, W2HCB, Soggy Bottoms, Babylon, KC3SGD, Ray, Elizabethtown, W2AJR, Andy in Chickawaga, and at the top of this list, KQAU, Bob in Ecorse, Michigan. Question of the day is, what day is garbage day where you live? Good morning, Bob.
I love this question.
Morning, Scott, and the rest of the Brew Crew. Friday's garbage day for me. I have to go to Johnson.
This morning, what we have connected to, we're running an ICOM 705, and there's a diamond discone antenna out on a fence pole about 15 feet up in the air.
Next up, W2
Can't remember if it's grounded or not. It's grounded.
Good morning, Andy.
It's grounded. But it's up there, and it's getting us some
Good
some
morning,
good
Scott.
contacts.
Good morning, everybody on the Brew Crew. Garbage day for us is Tuesday, and then every other Tuesday is recyclable. And that's this week, so I get to take out both games. Work for the rest of the day, and then, oh boy, I don't know, W2SO Infonet maybe tonight. 7 for y'all. Have a great Monday.
Hey, thanks for joining us, Andy. Have a good day. Next up, KC3SGD, Ray, Elizabethtown, Pennsylvania. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Scott and everyone on the Brew. Tuesday morning is garbage pickup for us. And as far as the rest of the day is concerned, we spend most of the day up at our wonderful wood shop. Got a lot of projects going on up there. And play some radio this evening. That'll do it.
I want to spend
Everyone
the
have
day
a
in
great
a wood
day.
shop.
Back to you, Stop it. Let this go. Good morning to you as well. Alrighty, thanks for joining us, Ray. And you have a great one. Next up, W2HCB, John. Seems kind of soggy this morning. Good morning, John. Good morning, Scott. I don't know what's worse, the rain or the wind. So anyway, let's see, what have I done this morning? I've been nothing. Garbage this week is on Tuesday, Thursday, next week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then they're going to screw it all up on me because I think my permanent garbage is going to go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, alternate Tuesdays for cans, pieces. They sent the whole schedule that I've got to download to my phone so I don't forget. But that's that.
Sorry about the
And
clicking.
today, I don't know, hopefully it's been raining sometime today, but the rain is horrendous. And I'm over here at KFK. The contractor I'm here for, they didn't show up today because of the rain, but they're iron workers. I'm trying to locate them and take all day. So nobody's answering their
Got some
phone.
bacon frying on that
Nobody's
signal.
yet on the machine. So, you know, it's one of those days. I got an emergency board meeting tonight with my club, and then I'll try and work a few more stations on the 12 days to give everybody
I'm gonna stop with the clicking here in a second.
So, every time we work, they're like, oh, I've been looking for the Sierra, so that's what I get for 12 days. 7 months swimming, appropriate for today. Alrighty, John. Well, I hope the rest of the day goes better and pull those boots up a little bit. That's a great one. Next up, KE2CHE, Rich in Buffalo. Good morning, Rich.
Open spot connected to YFF receptor 9280555.
Good morning. Garbage day for me is on Monday. Rest of the day, just getting things started here and work at the hospital. Gonna see what the day brings us, but should hopefully be an easy fun 1 week before Christmas Eve. Have a good day, everybody. Back to that.
Alrighty, thank you, Rich. You have a good day. And last on this list, KE8SMN, Justin, Rochester Hills, Michigan. Good morning.
Good morning. KE8 SMS. Back day in Rochester Hills is Thursday. For the rest of today, I'll be at the business end of the campus finishing up some trim work while it's rain and snows outside. KE8 SMS. That's enough.
Hey, Jeff, appreciate you joining us. I appreciate everybody that joined me this morning, and hope you all have a great day. We're going to turn it over now to N2BH, Bill, Elmira, New York, and he'll take you out through the 9 o'clock hour. This is Scott, W2BLT. Have a great day, everyone. It's all yours, Bill.
Trim work while it's rain and snows outside. KE8 SMS. That's enough. Have a good day, everybody. That's enough. Trim work while it's rain and snows outside.
Alright, we're gonna switch over to our local folks here. It sounds like it's getting a little too choppy over there. Let's see. They should be starting up here. There we go.
When I drifted away from it, but this past weekend, Kate McKinnon was the guest host. She's a former cast member, and they did a skit in which there was a killer whale attack on the North Pole, and the killer whales were eating the elves, and it was pretty hysterical. And she played her elf character with a very strong Scottish accent. It was pretty funny. Over to US N8QM. This is W8STX.
NAQM. Well, my weekend has been consumed largely by the repeater controller. There are so many things. It makes me think of the days of Windows 3.1. The 1990s, early 1990s vintage Microsoft Windows operating systems. It was not what we have been accustomed to. You go to Egghead Software, Egghead Software, you buy a Sound Blaster Pro sound card. And you open up the chassis of your computer, plug it into the AT bus, and now you got to go into the devices for the operating system and select and interrupt if one was available, and some other configuration things, and maybe you could get it to work. That's what working with the repeater controller is like. There are so many things you have to arrange and configure for just one message, announcement, just one announcement. If you want to schedule it so that it only runs so that it doesn't run like in the early morning hours, for example, maybe it takes 7 of the controller resources, and they have to be synchronized. So if you want to just have one announcement, like maybe play the time, and just let it run, 24/7, today. A little bit, it only plays for certain days or certain hours. It starts. You need to have that box of Band-Aids to fix the bruises on your head from banging your head against the wall. And this is any come.
So we just switched to the morning net here in Southeast Michigan, the Washtenaw area repeater.
Well, it definitely sounds kind of interesting. Might actually have to look into that repeater controller software to see how it works. I definitely remember the old Sound Blaster days, and not only do you have to configure it in the software, but on those cards you actually had to configure jumpers to set your IRQ and your address and interrupt, DMA channels.
Great
All
group of
done by
folks.
jumpers.
Grab
Even
your
on the
learning
system
logs.
mainboard,
We're gonna hop
the
on
old
here. There was too much
486
bacon
system
brewing
mainboard,
on
you
the
can set your clock speed
on
multiplier
that
as a jumper into the board.
147.345.
And God forbid you got a jumper wrong, because you might either speed your
But these
computer
guys,
up a little
these
bit
folks
by
run from
overclocking
around
it,
8
or
to
in
9.
worst cases, you could
And
let the
run
magic
until
smoke
11
out if you
on
weren't
a few of
careful.
the nets, the morning nets. So
Good times.
grab your
back then.
transceiver, grab your
I
rig,
think I
hop
actually
outside,
have a
hop
box in my
inside,
office that's
grab
got
your
some
learning
old
log,
PC hardware.
and
It might even have one of those old Sound Blasters in it. I'll have to look
start
when I
writing
get
down
home.
some information.
Over to you, Jim, from N at FPV.
I already found out I want to look up them.
The W8SX, well, back in the 1990s, I was already firmly a Apple Macintosh guy, and so I don't have memories of Windows 3 and all of the issues surrounding that, so I can't really make any informed comments about that. But it does look like it's pretty chilly outside. Looks like 35 degrees. That's chilly compared to recently. And it's supposed to snow today. At least that's what the WeatherBug app says. But the temperature is just going to slowly fall into maybe the mid-20s by midnight. And we'll see how it goes tomorrow. And like it's supposed to have much in the way of accumulation or anything like that, but it's supposed to be cold tomorrow. And with that, over to West at 8QM. This is W8STX.
This is NEQM, leaving a little gap there in case someone else wants to join in. And let me remind everyone listening, this is an open net. It's open to all licensed amateurs. And we would like to open it up to non-leftists, but we can't do that. We can't do that in one little iota in any way. But we certainly can encourage you to contact us by email, whatnot, or your local amateur radio club. And we'll bend over backwards to get you trained and get that license in your hands. No question about it. Let me hand it down to Eric. This is NAQM.
Well, you weren't kidding, Jim. It is snowing out right now. Not very hard, but there are some big flakes fluttering down from the ground, mixed in with a little bit of rain too. So it's that lovely mix that makes driving so much fun in the mornings. And the old Macs, I remember having the old Macintosh back in school, and one of the miscreants in our computer class found out that on the old Macs, if you drug the hard drive icon to the trash can icon, the system would basically eat itself. They had to put controls in place to stop the kids from doing that. But didn't really have a whole lot of experience with Macs, but I started off, I had an Apple IIe when I was growing up as a kid, and then my mom got an IBM compatible laptop, and then we just stuck with the PC side of things from there. And I am going to make this one my last one, since I am just pulling into the parts shop, and I got to get some programming work done and duck out at noon so I can go to the dentist. So we'll be back tomorrow for the Tuesday morning edition, though. Hope everyone has a good day, and I'll be listening out. So over to Jim from Headed FPV 73.
Well, 73 to you, Eric, and I hope that you have a quiet day to nurse that bad headache, and I'm glad that you don't have to go up on the roof. It's supposed to be in addition to having some of that white stuff falling, and I'm looking out my window, and it's falling here in Commerce Township as we speak, and the trees are moving their branches just a little bit. So winter activities are in progress. We'll see how long it lasts. Pardon me. And when I started with the Macs, they didn't have hard drives at all. It was originally they only had one floppy disk, and that was pretty doggy as far as performance goes. And then they got to the point where they had two floppy disks, and that was still pretty doggy. And then hard drives came along, and then things start to get interesting. So with that, over to Wes at AQM. This is W8STX.
And AQM, well, you and I are the only ones on the net this morning as of this particular instant, Jim. So I certainly hope that someone else will key up. Another one of our old favorites, maybe Al. And by the way, good morning to Al listening in on HD. It's not all that cold out, Al. Maybe it's worth a trip down to the ham shack. You help keep us company here, Al. One of the issues that I've been dealing with on the repeater controller, I can't really say it's the controller, but the object is to be able to leave a mini PC resident at the water tower, and then be able to create a remote desktop on it to do all the programming. But I'm finding that I'm randomly losing the COM port connection, and the only way that I've figured out how to restore it is by cycling the power to the PC. No, cycling the power to the controller. And that'll defeat the whole purpose. So I'm thinking maybe one solution is, if I have to, make sure that the controller is powered from one of the receptacles in the water tower that loses its power when they switch to emergency power. is they do routine cycling of their power to the diesel. A break for beer. And so that would cycle the power and cause the controller to reboot, and that would restore the COM port connection. But that's a hard way to do it. I'm really going to have something a little bit more reliable than that. Let me send it back to you, Jim. But hey, we're going to leave a nice little pause here, inviting someone else to join in. I'm sure by this time somebody's going to join us, Jim. Let me send it down to you, Jim, with a nice pause. This is Eddie Kim.
KE8 Victor Papa Quebec.
Was that Kilo Echo 8 Victor Papa Quebec?
That is correct. This is Bob.
Go ahead, Bob, and good morning to you, sir.
Oh, you guys talked about CCs, and that's something that I built my first computer by soldering pieces together in 1970, and no one had a home computer at that time.
Here they come. Let me see if I have it. I wasn't really a hardware. This is W6. I wasn't really a hardware guy, and that just wasn't my interest. But I know a lot of people did have that interest, and a lot of people did get into PC and computers, hardware side of things. But in my case, I went straight from having programmable Texas Instrument calculators to a Mac. I skipped over the Apple II stuff. That was still seemed kind of like the direction I did not want to go. By the time those things came along, I was really looking for a productivity tool for my work rather than something else. And with that, I will say good morning to Al K8WXQ, who's probably listening on his HT as he often does. And if Howard 88IM is listening, well, good morning to you, Howard. We hope that you are recovering successfully from your surgery. And with that, over to West NAQM. This is W8STN. This is NAQM. Well, good morning, Bob. I don't remember hearing from you before, and I don't remember seeing that call sign. So it's probably me, just need to have my memory jogged, or maybe, I don't know. So, once you tell us about yourself, maybe, probably Jim seemed to know who you were, but I don't. So let me hand it down to you. Bob, this is NAQM.
Yes, this is NVQ, VPQ, NVA, VPQ. I'm fairly new ham here, but I've been playing around with electronics since I was in high school. So my uncle was a ham radio operator in California. We moved here from California about 30 years ago. Anyway, I like PCs. I went to the PCs because I like the 600 computer microprocessor. I worked for American Microsystems that second sourced that Motorola chip, and learned quite a bit about it. And then I started working for General Motors. I moved here to Michigan and started working for General Motors. And engine controllers were based on the 6800 microprocessor. So over to you. Thanks. Bye. Well, sorry. I'm still figuring out how to do this talking on the radio. So over.
And that is how you
WNB.
join the net.
KE8 Whiskey November Bravo, I think it was. Mike, good morning to you. Go ahead and take one, Mike, and then pass it back to me.
Yeah, good morning, everybody. Sounds like a light morning this morning. I'm going to pretty much be in and out this morning. I had a late start and had to make some phone calls this morning. Let's see, we got some snow flurries going on here in Milford Township this morning. I don't know how everybody else is doing or how far south the snow is going, but it was nice change of pace to actually see some snow in December for once. So with that, I was just going to say good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's weekend went well. Mine went pretty good. Had a nice little ugly sweater party, and yeah, that's pretty much all I got. I know you guys are talking about computers this morning. I'm not much of a computer guy, so I'll leave it at that. And I'm going to say 7 3s. And this is Kilo Echo 8 Whiskey November Bravo. Out.
This is W8SX, and I'm leaving I thought I'd leave a little pause there to see if somebody else wants to jump in. You are listening to the weekday morning roundtable on this frequency. It's an open roundtable. It's open to all licensed amateurs in the listening area. Just throw out your call sign. We'd be glad to put you in rotation. We usually start about 8 o'clock in the morning on this frequency and go till 8:30 if propagation allows. But oftentimes we do talk longer. It all depends upon how many people check in and how long people have to talk on the radio. And Wes, I'm looking at my log here for the roundtable, and Bob has checked in 3 times before, once in February, once in May, and once in November of this year. And it was certainly good to hear his voice on the radio again. And Bob, being a new ham, well, you don't get to be proficient at most things if you don't practice, and so we're happy to help you practice your skills here. I'm just finishing up my 3rd year as a ham myself, and when I got started, I definitely did not have the skills that I do today. But practice, and you'll be surprised that things will improve quite a bit, I think. And with that, over to Wes at AQF. This is
That's why we join the morning nuts with our learning logs.
This is NAQM. Well, once again, welcome to the Net Bob. Now, I would definitely encourage you to get active with one of the amateur radio clubs. There's the club in Jackson. I was vice president of that one for 2 years. There's the Chelsea Club. I'm trustee for the Chelsea Repeater myself. The Ann Arbor Club is really, really active. There's the U of M Club. And each one of them, if you just look them up on the web, you'll find they're more than happy to take you in, help get you educated, and upgrade your license, and just be among like-minded people. So hey, let me give it to you, Bob. This is NAQM.
This is KVPQ. Yeah, I believe I'm a member of one of the clubs because when I got my license, went down to the church there, and I signed up to be a member of one of the clubs. And I attended that repeater class you guys had at the Saline School. So I got a lot of things going on right now. We're retired. We're taking care of grandkids. I do woodworking, gardening. Well, not in the wintertime, but yeah. So a lot of things going on, and it's hard to fit in ham radio. Although I do have an interest in it. Back to you. This is KAZPQ.
This is W8SX, Jim in Commerce Township, and we still have snow flurries going here, and it still looks like it's kind of windy. It does look like it's winter time. And yeah, maybe the time for gardening is past for a few months. Certainly we brought in everything that we wanted to survive the winter time. House that is inside for several weeks now. They're all doing well. And yes, Bob, I'm retired, and I have been for about 10 years, and I've had a busy retirement, but grandkids is not something that's been on my plate. Just my current situation, they're not in the picture. But I'm sure that they could take up an enormous amount of time, as do children. And with that, over to West NAQM. This is W8SDX.
Well, this is NAQM, and Bob, I lived in California for a lot of years. I was born in Ann Arbor, but I lived in California. That's where I went to school, Cal Poly, San Luis Obispo, and I did 2 6-month terms in San Carlos, the GTE Lenkirk Microelectronics for academic credit while I was going to school in the San Francisco Bay Area. And I lived in Fairfield for a couple of years too. So all in all, I think it was about 10 years that I lived in California before I went to work for Boeing. And I was working at Vandenberg Air Force Base, the Western Pacific Test Range for Boeing, before they transferred me to Seattle. Let me hand it out to you, Bob. This is NAQM.
This is KE8VPQ. I remember NIQM. I remember talking to you at the meeting a little bit after the meeting when they had that repeater class. And I did remember that we have both graduated from Cal Poly. And when I graduated, I went up to the Bay Area and I got a job. I got laid off from my work, and then I went back to Santa Barbara and worked for Raytheon for 5 years, and then transferred over to Delco Electronics, and then Delco closed the plant in Santa Barbara, and so I transferred over here to Michigan, thinking, well, I'll stay here a couple of years, and then I'll go back to California, but we've been here 30 years, so it's the way it goes, Well, this is KE8VPQ. Over to you. Thanks.
Good morning. And it's 7:03.
This is W8SX, Bob. If you're wondering about my accent, I didn't grow up in Michigan. I'm originally from Texas. I grew up out in West Texas and worked there most of my life, but I retired in 2013 and moved to Michigan, and I've been in Michigan ever since. My Texas friends thought I was crazy in Michigan. They thought, too cold, too snowy, blah, 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 blah. But, people up here are mostly prepared for that kind of thing. In Texas, they're definitely not prepared for that kind of thing. Over to you, West, NAQM. This is W8SX.
NAQM. Well, Bob, I remember talking to you. I remember you now at the meeting. I remember talking to you. We talked about a variety of things. I believe I was even telling you about my divorce. Why would ever something like that come up? I don't know. Hey, great. It was great meeting you. I hope that you'll become more active. And I spent a little bit of time with the Ann Arbor Club, so hope you get active there. See you there. Certainly like to see you at the Chelsea Club. So let me hand it down to you, Bob. And once again, good morning to Al listening in on the HT.
This is KE8VPQ. Don't know quite what to talk about at this point, but maybe I'll just pass it on at this point. Think about some more things to say. Over to you.
This is W8SX, and I thought I'd leave a little pause there to see if somebody else wanted to jump in. This is an open roundtable. It's open to all licensed amateurs.
just fill out your call sign. Would be glad to put you in rotation. And Wes, speaking of not being prepared for cold weather, I was reading this weekend, there's the aftermath of
I'm over
the
here taking my notes.
2021 deep freeze in Texas, and you
I
will
need to click this
recall
timer.
that the Texas power grid buckled and fell to its knees, and more than 250 people died in that
My
event.
kid just got an A.
And it, you know, the
Flag.
consequences of that are still unfolding in the courts. And I saw in a newspaper article that a judge in Texas had ruled that based on the way that Texas had deregulated its energy markets in the early 2000s when they separated responsibilities of generators and transporters of energy, that the generators had no affirmative duty to provide electricity in emergencies. That's pretty horrifying, at least to me. Over to US, NAQM, this is W8STX.
And well, I know that Texas is a little unique with respect to the North American power grid. They are on their own grid. Their grid follows the state outline of the border between Oklahoma. It's a Texas electric grid. When you look at the North American grids, it's easy to tell where the Texas grid is. Let me hand that down to Bob. This is NAQM.
K8WXQ, Noel.
Good morning, Al. You'll be after Bob. Bob, if you would, pass it to Al when you're done.
This is KE8VPQ. Yeah, when I first moved here from California, that winter it was minus 20 degrees in the parking lot when I stepped out from work. I was driving my 56 Chevy.
This is W8S6. Let me see if I've got it. Bob, you dropped out after you said 56 Chevy. Are you still there?
Yeah, this is KE8VPQ. Anyway, I was wearing snow pants because
Bob seems to be having some kind of issue. Maybe his battery is low. I don't know. Over to you, Al. K8WXQ. We'll hope Bob gets his radio issues sorted out.
The audio and everything was good. It acts like something's cutting out. The power supply or something cutting out. So I don't know. Hope we can get that. Anyway, Wes, this is for you. What time of the year is it? And what you usually say to me at Christmas time?
And I will pass it to Wes for a response.
Who introduced that term to us? I forgot Rick's call sign. If he was the one that introduced Noel for the month of December. So I suppose we could say, I guess that would mean when we have Noel, that's the Christmas season, I guess, but that doesn't make sense. But I guess we could say, I don't know. Noel is for the Christmas season, and somehow you're joining the net brings us into a Noel, something or another. And then we hand it over to Bob. This is NAQM.
This is KE8VPQ. I believe my battery is kind of low, so if you guys can't hear me,
Over to you, Al.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I guess you have to get your battery charged up there, Bob. And just stopping by to say good morning. I'm not going to stick around. Picking up a few things here or there. We just busy with the season there, trying to wrap up a few things. Yesterday, I already starting my cleaning up the bookwork and everything, getting ready for stuff to come in for January for our things like that word that nobody likes called taxes. Anyway, I have to get ready for the accountant. We don't do that till early February, but believe it or not, the way these weeks are going by, it's going to sneak up on us pretty quick. So I usually do my taxes in February, make an appointment, get all the documents in, and then in the middle of February, usually sit down with the accountant and we go through all the documents and everything, investments and all that stuff. And it's hard to believe that it's coming up the end of the year. I'm still back in the summertime, I think, mentally. I think that it just has, the year has just gone very fast. And, well, one thing that when we get the winter coming on, one thing we know for sure, the next thing that will come is spring. So anyway, we'll look forward to spring. So now it sounds like you have a mutual acquaintance there, Wes, with going to the same university. So that's quite interesting to hear that. Yeah, I've been looking at some of my equipment and stuff. I'm trying to debate if I want to part with my Collins station or not. I have a potential buyer for it, and it's stuff that was stored for, oh gosh, over 20, 30 years it was stored, and I purchased from an estate in 2006 and restored the power supplies and two of the pieces and stuff like that. But I don't know. It's just getting to where I'm 80 years old. I'm not sure if I want to keep it or not. I've got the Elecraft K3, the Yaesu rig, and the ICOM. I've got plenty of radios here, so
NHDUY repeater.
My beeper just cut me off, so I think that's it. I got to get it back to you, Jim. I don't know what we're going to do with Bob if he wants to stay in here. I think what's happening is my battery's recovering a little bit to get a few words out. So back to you, Jim. Or no, I think I was turning it over to Wes. Okay. Yeah, it is that time of the year there, Wes. So are you still driving into that place that was over by Romulus or somewhere? You went with another company. Are you still driving that every day? Go ahead, Wes.
Of course you can. This is W8SX. Yes, Al. Currently, you are before me, or I'm after you in the rotation. And so, Al, I think it's a great thing that if you got to the point where you're not using some of your equipment very much, and, you know, making sure that it has a good home while you still can have an influence on that, I think that's a good thing. And looking at the winter weather, it looks like the forecast, the weather bug says for next Monday, which is Christmas Day,
It's supposed to be 51 degrees and rainy here. And between now and then, after tomorrow, which is supposed to be cold, it's supposed to be back up into the 40s for the rest of the week and warming up on the weekend.
Oh, no snow
So
for Christmas.
not very wintry weather, but just
It
a
is
little
Michigan,
bit
though.
of wintry
Make
weather.
a change.
Over to
in
US,
5 minutes.
NAQM, this is W8STX.
NAQM at I-94 and M14. It's nasty. I'm going to hand it over to Bob.
This is KE8VBQ. I don't know if my battery's going to hold out, so maybe I should just say.
Bob, your battery died on you after you said, I think I'm going to say, and so I wrote down 73 on my list, and I've logged you out, but you're in the log for today. It's good to hear from you, Bob, and I hope that you have a great holiday week, and we'll hope to hear from you again soon. Over to you, Al, K8WXQ. This is W8STX.
Yeah, I think he lives out in Saline or somewhere. I thought I heard that. So Bob, join us again here on the net. I'm the Al they keep talking about. It's cold out here in the shack. It's all your fault, Wes. You kept egging me on there. Everybody says, hey, we miss Al. So Al's here. So anyway, I guess the weather is acting up from what the reports are, snow, and it sounds like a little bit of snowflakes to the north, so it's not doing anything other than overcast. It was raining because I let the doggies out. It was kind of wet, so it looked like it had been raining just before I let them out this morning, so I guess it is what it is. It's that time of the year. I'll tell you what, I'd rather have what we got now than be shoveling 6 inches of snow. So I don't do that anyway. I don't try to do a snow shovel. It's very special. It was actually my daughter's, and I had to overhaul it. Fixed it up using another snow shovel. But this is kind of a pusher type of thing. It's got a special ergonomic design to it. And I don't really have to lift the snow. I can just push the snow out of my way if I need to get to one of the vehicles. Usually a friend of ours, Ted, he comes by with either his machine or a snow shovel and does around the cars there so that we can get out to our doctor's appointments or whatever, store or whatever we need to do. So now I'm messing around with the regen receiver. I'm hooking up a little amplifier, a little LM386 all of it runs off 12 volts. So I'm hooking up a little thing so I can plug in a speaker, or I can plug in the headsets that I just got, the Vietnam era headsets from 1967. I got a brand new headset here. So I got many headsets for vintage radios. So and crystal radios. Most of this stuff is like for messing with crystal radios. Didn't hear my beeper go off, but I think I'm getting long-winded. So back to you, Jim, and great job taking the net, keeping the show together here in the mornings. And I think you're still using your closet antenna. I don't know what you're using there, but you're making the repeater okay this morning. Back to you, Jim, WASTX, K8, WXQ.
KB8.FM, KG88.
I'm a Johnny 88 I am.
Oh my gosh, you really threw me in that time, guys. Mike, KP8ZFM, and HZ, I'm blank, no,
It'll come to me in a minute. And good morning, Howard. Mike, go ahead and take one. Pass it to Hotel Zulu, and then Howard is next in the rotation. Go ahead, Mike.
All right, this is KB8ZFM. Good morning, everybody. Just making the trip through the flurries / drizzle / flurries, depending on where I'm at. Right now, I'm over close to Milan, and it's some bigger flakes now. So, good to hear everybody. Didn't have too much of a comment. Al, if you find a buyer for the Collins, probably a good home. I do what I do with my guitar stuff. It is just stuff at the end of the day. However interesting it may be, and if it's not getting used, if you find a good home, I would take it. But that's me. Other than that, I'm just gonna let it go down, and I think it's Brian's next. But I'm terrible with names anyway. So this is KB8ZFM.
I got it. G88Z, Jerry. Yeah, good morning. Yeah, just wrapping up a gift here, and last Christmas gift for my son. I don't know. It was kind of rainy yesterday, but there was a lot of POTA, so working quite a few different stations. Howard, go ahead. And I was just kind of curious, Howard, do they monitor mouse movement for the people that work at home? I was told that at work.
This is 88IM. Good morning from Freedom Township and a slightly flurry day this morning there. Looks a little chilly, but I saw weather news before bed last night that it might be up to over 50 on Christmas Day in a week. It's like, wow, that is interesting. As for security monitoring in the IT area here, I don't do that aspect of it. I wouldn't be surprised at all if that data is collected, but probably not reviewed unless there's a reason to. That's how a lot of security goes on around the company. There is, they might have the information, but until you upset the wrong person or do something really off the reservation, they won't do anything about it. Maybe tell you, hey, you're doing something you shouldn't. But generally, that's been what my experience there, what I've seen. And I know there's a couple situations over the years there. I've been here for over 2 decades, and there was one back in the early 2000s, which I'm amazed that someone wasn't let go immediately from what I heard there on the on-call laptop. And then there's other ones where I think people are just told, hey, knock it off, and when they didn't, then they were released. But that's the way it goes. So that's where I'm at. I'll take and save the rest for the next round. See who's on there. And good morning, Al. Always good to hear you. This is D8IM over to W8STX.
This is W8STX, and good morning, Jerry and Howard. I knew it was a Gene name. I just couldn't get it off the top of out of my mouth, off the top of my head. And my radio activity for this weekend was not hunting POTA. I don't have a situation where my antenna can survive wet weather. HOA thing, it's a temporary antenna. But I was logging, transferring my paper logs to electronic format so I could get credit for the 5 activations that I did last Thursday, which was the day that we had that big coronal mass ejection, which I heard about. I didn't experience too much of it, but I did hear about it during my activations. And with that, over to Wes and AQM. This is W8STX.
This is NAQM, and Al, I love you so much, and I'll always look forward to hearing you on this net. There's something special about multiple decades of amateur experience. You were doing amateur radio when I was a kid, drooling over the Heathkit catalog. I gotta say my 73s because I'm almost at the destination where I'm picking up my day laborers, gonna bring them back home. They're gonna do labor for us, hourly labor, the stuff that we either can't do or don't have time for. So 73s, I'll be listening out, so I hand it on down to, let's see, Bob is gone, so it goes to KWMV Mike.
Goes Al, and then Al will pass it to the zombie from Michigan, Mike.
Okay, well, I think I'll make this the final. I have to get the dogs fed and that sort of thing, and it's the final countdown to the Christmas day. So anyway, enjoyed YouTube yesterday. I follow Matt's service at his church, so did the evening service and the main service yesterday, and his wife was playing the Hammond organ that I oiled up and kind of helped Matt out with that. It saves a couple bucks. The Hammond organ people that come in, they want a pretty big price to service something, and it's got to be somebody that knows something about tubes, but enough expertise between Mark, W8FSA, and I to really keep that thing going. Tubes are very common in that Hammond C2 organ. It does not have the Leslie speaker. It has a HS40, which there's 9 smaller speakers, and I believe 2 large. I think they're 12-inch speakers. I think the others might be 8-inch, but it'll definitely rattle the ceiling there. So I've played it recently, and it's always a fun thing to do that. But most of the people in the church play the grand piano, so mostly piano players. But his son plays an instrument, trumpet, and another young gal that plays the violin, and so many young and up and coming folks that play various instruments. So it's a wonderful service that I listen to. Well, I guess I will say 73s. And turn it to the other mic there. I can't remember what the zombie's all about, but anyway, I'll turn it to you and say 73s. You can sign me out there for today, Jim. Maybe I can join later in the week. 73s, everybody, and Howard, say hello to you. I guess you checked in with the other 2 there that checked in. So everybody have a good day. Everybody have a good day and be safe. K8WXQ 73s.
All right, KWXQ, this is KB8ZFM, your zombie friend Mike. Hi. Good to hear you, and 73 to West as well, and hope you guys have a great day. And sorry, Jerry, on the wrong name there. I didn't, the way the weather is today, I didn't dare try to bring up my little notepad log I've got in the truck here. So, as I prefaced it, I am terrible at names to start with, so. Yeah, good to hear from you. I did a little POTA hunting. Half a dozen or 8, I don't know. Just here and there when I had a chance to pop down, do a couple quick QSOs, and then pop back up. I did take some time and listen to some CW and copy that down, and things are getting better, but we'll keep working on it before we start transmitting on it. Hi. So, and over to you, Jerry. This is KB8ZFM.
KG88Z. Okay, yeah, the band went long on 40 yesterday, and I was able, after the late shift, I was able to work somebody in California. But over the weekend, I worked this guy in Vancouver, and he's got this tape measure antenna he uses on HF. And I happened to find some Cat 5 wiring at work in the dumpster, and unfortunately, it's a solid variety. I think he was using the stranded. He's got a video, he's got a YouTube channel that's called Ham Jazz. I take it he's a trumpet player, or he's a musician of some sort from Australia, and he lives in Vancouver. And then I worked another station in Vancouver, probably pretty close to the same area, and he didn't have the signal strength as that guy had with his tape measure antenna.
Good morning. And it's 7-3.
Over to you, Howard. All right, I wasn't quite sure if Jerry was down there or not. Well, very good. I did pretty much no radio over the weekend there. Pretty occupied with my weekend and the other stuff having taken care of, which all went very smoothly. It took longer than expected, but I'll talk more about it tomorrow. Hopefully, I'll sleep better tonight and not be so tired in the morning. I just could not get to sleep last night. So, but that's the way it goes there. But everything is doing well so far. Just some time to chill out and recover there. And yesterday was a lot of nausea as the eyes started coming into focus and trying to work together, and creating a bit of a dissonance there in the brain, which it always likes to interpret as nausea. That's pretty typical when their senses don't cooperate. But that's where that's at. And I'm going to say 73, get back up to the house here. My eye's not quite happy sitting right in front of some monitors here. Almost there. I'll probably be better and happier this afternoon or evening at latest there. It's definitely getting better, noticeably better every few hours there. But also, I don't want to sit in front of the work computer either. So I'm going to say my 73's here and join you all tomorrow. This is 88 IM saying have a great day. Talk to you tomorrow, and over to W8STX.
NHBUY repeater.
This is W8STX, so 73 to you, Howard. And I hope that your cataract surgery recovery continues to go smoothly and hopefully rapidly. Being nauseated while your eyes are making adjustments does not sound like fun. Good luck to you, young man. And it looks like with lots of people signing, it's just myself, then Mike, and then Jerry. I'll remind everyone that they are listening to the weekday morning roundtable on this frequency. It's an open roundtable. It's open to all licensed amateurs in the listening area. Just throw out your call sign. We'd be glad to put you in rotation. We start about 8 o'clock in the morning until at least 8:30 if propagation allows. But oftentimes, like today, we do talk longer. It all depends upon how many people check in and how long people have to talk on the radio. Over to you, Mike, KB8ZFM. This is W8STX.
All right, well, 73 Howard there. Glad your eye's starting to come back, and I have the same sort of issue with my eyes making me nauseous when I get new glasses prescriptions, because my two eyes have always been
pretty different prescription-wise, and I also have an astigmatism in one eye, and that always gets me thrown off. So, kind of know what you're going through, probably just not to the same extent. So, fun fact: I was in a church the other day doing an inspection of the audio system, and the left and right speakers were out of phase with each other so bad that when I got in the middle of the space, it started throwing my balance off. And when my coworker got in the middle of the room and listened to it, he started getting nauseous. So that's funny how easily your inner ear can be thrown off just with unbalanced sound pressure like that. But that's what it is. So glad you're on the road to recovery, though. So I'm going to pass it on down to Jerry and listen for a bit. I'm staying in, but just distracted by having to take a detour here. 23 North is closed at Plymouth Road. So this is KB8ZFM.
KB8ZFM, KG88Z. Oh, here's another channel. Good. World News Report Today. I signed up to that guy. He's out of Texas. He does come out with some of his videos are kind of political, but he every time there's a solar flare of any extent, he reports on it like the same day. Whereas the space weather lady out there in California, she only does a report like every 2 weeks. Jim?
Here's one to write down in the learning guide.
This is W8SX. Well, I was going to say that the Space Weather Woman did do. I don't know whether it was a regular broadcast time, but on the 16th she did put out another video where she analyzed the activity on the 14th, and it's pretty interesting. If you go to her Space Weather Woman channel and look at her December 16th video, there is a part of it where they show an animation of FT8 activity and of DX activity just before the mass, the energy hit the Earth, and as the energy hit the Earth, and it is pretty dramatic. But mostly the southern hemisphere and mostly South America was hit, but it did extend up into North America, and there were some effects, but it was much stronger in South America on the 14th. And with that, Mike, it looks like it's still snowing here. It's sort of shifted from coming straight down to coming at an angle. It looks a little bit breezy, but it's not too heavy. Over to you, Mike. This is W8SX.
Good morning. Monday, 9 a.m.
All right, just thought I'd leave some time in case someone else wanted to join. Yeah, where I'm at, the wind isn't bad, but I'm also on back roads, so I'm pretty well surrounded by trees, but I don't see the tops of them moving so much. Flakes have gotten smaller. I mean, nothing's sticking, obviously. It's so warm, but it's still coming down, and I'm at Plymouth Road. Now I'm on Dixboro, headed up to Pontiac Trail. Going to take the back way up to Wixom. That's what we're up to right now, and I'm just going to pass it to Jerry. This is KB8ZFM.
KG88Z. Gee, as you mentioned that, there's some white stuff in the air out by my house as I'm looking out the kitchen window. And, yeah, I picked up, I went to Menards. My son, he said one of the lamp fixtures, the three-way switch broke on the one of the living room lamps. So I picked up a new switch, and I found some
CPVC pipe. I was going to use PEX, but I guess I'll use this for this tape measure antenna. It's to elevate the ground radios. He used Cat 5 wire, and he like stripped the jacket on it, and then individually stripped off all the strands, so that he had like 16 strands of wire, about 8.5 feet long, and then they were suspended like up about 3 feet. So I needed this CPVC stuff to at the termination and the ground or the ground radios.
This is W8STX, and it looks like it's my turn again. And so, Jerry, I'm wondering, do you have an estimated time of when you're going to get this new antenna on the air? Is this just sort of a long-term project, or this is like it's going to happen, this is your Christmas present to yourself kind of thing? I'd be interested to know about that. And it does look like that the snow is now coming straight down again, so, you know, the wind is sort of variable, and the flakes were very, very fine a couple of minutes ago, and now they're bigger, so, yeah, things are in flux. Over to you, Mike. This is W8STX.
This is KB8ZFM, and yeah, I'm a few miles further north now, and all the roofs are white, and quite a bit of the grass is, so a lot more stuff sticking right where I'm at now. So, when I left home and most of the way up through Saline and everything, nothing stuck at all, but yeah, the closer I get to you, Jim, the more I see actually stuck. We'll see how it continues. And elevating the radials, yeah, that's usually a great thing to do. I've seen quite a few folks running a vertical and not having their counterpoise or their radials elevated up with the element, and that usually ends up with a lot of loss. A lot of people don't correlate that those need to be pretty much by the feed point to get the most out of the antenna, but sounds like you're right on it, so it'll be interesting. I'd like to see it when it's done. This is KB8ZFM.
NHPUY repeater.
KG88Z. Well, you can go to his channel, their YouTube channel. He's got quite a few videos on how to construct the device. The only other thing I got to figure out is the vertical. He had like an arrangement. He had some PVC pipe, and then he had a fishing pole that went into the pipe. And that I don't know how long the fishing pole was. He said he got it at a second-hand store, and so I got to find some arrangement for that. But he was using the pole to retract or elevate the 1-inch measuring tape. It was a 25-foot tape that he was using, and then he uses like a battery clip for charging your car with the car charger. He uses one of those for the RF connection. Then the other side of it goes to the Cat 5 wiring, and it goes out like about 8.5 feet.
This is W8STX. So if I'm understanding correctly, what he's doing is he's using the fishing pole to adjust the length of the antenna so he can make it resonant on different bands, so he doesn't have to have a tuner. That's what I'm imagining. You can correct me if I'm wrong, Jerry, but it goes back to Mike, KB8ZFM. This is W8STX. Yeah, I'll have to definitely look into the videos because I've heard them a couple times. I think we were talking about them Thursday or Friday last week even. Yeah, I'd like to see what they've got going. I'm back and forth on what I want to do. After doing a little hunting yesterday, I really want to get something that's probably resonant on 20. I'm trying to decide if I'm just going to put up my NFED half wave that I have that I kind of just keep for a backup portable or POTA use, or if I'm just going to build another 20-meter dipole and string it up for now. But I would definitely like to get something just because of how popular 20 is. You know, I've got my tuner. I can make my 40-meter dipole kind of work, but there's definitely loss there, and it's definitely not near as good on the receive as that inverted V that I take out for POTA. So just trying to figure out what I want to do myself. So over to you, Jerry. This is KB8 ZFM.
KG88Z. Yeah. One, after I was in Menards and they got this red tape measure, it's called Tool Shop, and underneath it it's a big letters, 25 feet, 1 inch wide. And the tape measures were $4. So I thought, well, I can find all the other wood materials that he used and stuff. And I just got to figure out for the vertical pulley arrangement, you know, what I could get away with. Yeah, I'm surprised. I worked two. His call is VA7 BIX, and I worked another VA station. And I looked at what park he was at on my account, and he probably was like pretty close by. It was in the same general area in Vancouver. Jim, KG88Z.
I just wanted to jump in. Well, Jerry, on one of my activations on last Thursday, a station in Azore Islands, that's off the coast of Portugal, worked me on 20 meters, and I was pretty surprised, but I was happy to get that station in the log. I don't get too much DX when I'm out doing parks on the air, but I'm happy when I do get it. And Mike, I have a question for you. I was looking at the POTA map, trying to plan some things for the springtime, and then looking at other websites about some parks. And my question to you is, have you been to the Cambridge Junction Historic State Park, and do you know what its actual hours are? I saw other sites that said April to October, but then other places it looked like it was May to October. And do they lock the gate so you can't actually get into the parking lot when the thing is not open? I'm guessing that that's the case because of the historic buildings there. But if you could confirm one way or the other, I'd sure appreciate it. Over to you, Mike. This is W8SX.
Well, that answer for me is kind of vague. Yes, I have been there, but not for POTA. It was in the summer. I've never been there this time of the year, and yeah, I believe that it's closed this time of the year, and they do close the gate, but I'm also seeing conflicting information that may be open now during the winter time. Who knows? Maybe this weekend I'll have a little spare time on Saturday, and I'll throw my stuff in the truck and go investigate that. But that's one of my next ones on the list, so when I do get to it, I will let you know. But I am not entirely sure anymore. So Jerry may have. He roves a lot. So over to you, Jerry. This is KB8 ZFM.
KG8Z. Yeah, I just got a Amazon delivery. The other part I needed, this is connector, a connector for the, actually I bought a variety box. A connector for the RF portion of it, to where you have like you have like a coax male pigtail on one end, and then it comes out of that. The braid goes into one part of the connector, and then which goes to the counterpoise wires, and then the other one goes to the little battery jumper cable. So, and I asked that guy while I had him on the air. I worked him on 20 meters. I worked both those stations on 20 meters. VA7BIX, and then I worked, and he's the guy with the tape measure antenna, and then I worked, or the Ham Jazz is his YouTube channel. Then I worked VA7HUM, and he had a weaker signal, but they were both in the Vancouver area, so it's kind of impressive. The only thing I can figure, I know you got like your on-the-glass antennas, and your phones, they'll charge on a wirelessly, and so the only thing I can figure is his RF connection to the tape measure is capacitance coupled, because that's what they do with the on-the-glass antennas. They don't drill any hole through your glass in your car, and the
NHDUY repeater.
I asked him about the tape measure, if he took paint off of the back side of the tape measure, and he said no, he didn't do anything with it. And he's got this huge signal.
Well, that's pretty interesting, Jerry. And you didn't mention how many watts he was running. Is he 100 watts, or is it more than that? I'd be interested to know about that. And Mike, thanks for letting me know that you're a little confused too. But yeah, that park was over not too far. I mean, it's in your neck of the woods as the things go. And I was looking for, maybe a situation where I could do some parks on a Friday afternoon, and then find a place between there and the freeway again, and then do more parks on a Saturday. I usually don't do POTA on the weekends. It's usually a weekday thing for me. But I was thinking maybe a Friday, Saturday thing where I could get in a bunch of parks in that area. So I appreciate it. Thanks for that. And over to you, Mike. This is WASX.
This is KB8ZFM. Yeah, I'm still planning on hitting that, and if not, I'll just have Hayes State Park as my backup. They're really close to each other, and really close to me. So yeah, I'll try to make Cambridge the next one I check out, and I'll let you know. And yeah, capacitive couplets when it's done right is excellent. That's what I use in the truck here. Dual band capacitive couplets antenna that's just up at the top passenger side corner of my windshield, and it works pretty well enough for me. Hi. And as I'm up on 8 Mile, even more stuff sticking, and I can definitely tell you've had more blowing just based on how the telephone poles are all coated on one side. So over to you, Jerry. This is KB8ZFM.
KG8Z. Yeah, I kind of wondered how he was doing it, but years ago, back in the 90s, I seen a article in QST
and I made up an antenna for the 220 band on the glass. But back then we had Radio Shack, and I was able to get the heavy-duty double-sided tape to glue the antenna to the windshield. Yeah, they're no longer around, but I guess they could look around on Amazon. Anyway, yeah, these connectors here, there was 32 sets of male and female pluggable terminal block connector sockets. And actually the only one that I needed, I think, was a 3 or 4 connector. Probably a 4 connector would be better. I have better spread between the counterpoise and the RF. So, Jim, KG887.
This is W8SX. I couldn't tell whether there was the station trying to open the repeater or whether the repeater was just sort of stumbling as it was IDing itself. I'm going to pause to see if somebody else is trying to check in. I heard 4s, but it was in a tone of voice that I recognize as Joe, KE4ZYQ, and you were not able to the repeater, Joe. I'm going to pass it on to Mike, and Mike can pass it to Jerry, and we'll get the chance to get into the repeater, but you weren't really making it that time, Joe. Over to you, Mike.
All right, yeah, I agree. That definitely sounded like a 4 and possibly part of a Z, and definitely sounded like Joe's voice to me as well. But I'm now at 10 mile, and I mean, we're down to less than a mile visibility with the big white flakes coming. So there's definitely some water in the air to get through this morning. So hopefully I'm holding it. But over to you, Jerry. This is KB8ZFM.
Okay, yeah, and I worked both those stations about 5 minutes apart. Yeah, I'd have to look on a map. I know the one guy, the weak signal, the HUM, was he was on that Vancouver Island, or I forget what they call that island over there in Vancouver. It's pretty big. And I don't know where Jazz was at. But it was pretty cool. He had a really strong signal. And yeah, he runs a 7300. I think he runs at full 100 watts. Jim, KG887.
Good morning. And at 7-3.
Well, very good on running 100 watts, and that's pretty interesting. I don't know how much power a tape measure could handle. I'm not really an electronics guy, but that is very interesting. When I do my photo activations, my standard thing is to try to run about 80 watts. I'm doing voice, so it's all phone work, and so how much you actually put out varies with your voice. But I try about 80 watts, and I get out pretty good. Usually I'm mostly getting the East Coast and the Deep South, but sometimes, like this past week, I got out to California and to Nevada, and that contact way to the east and the Azores. But mostly it's the East Coast and the Deep South for me, with my 17-foot vertical whip with a single counterpoise. And with that, over to Mike, KP8ZFM. This is W8SDX.
All right, I'm I'm going to make this one my 7-3 round, and yeah, that's one reason why I want to get something else up at home, is I can also hear so much better with the inverted V I do for POTA, that I want to get something like that for home. And yeah, that's about it for me today. Hopefully it'll be a good work day, and looks like I'm getting in safe, hopefully get home safe. So, good to talk to everybody, and sure we'll be talking again soon. We'll catch you further on down the line. This is KB8ZFM, listening out.
Okay, don't work too hard and have a good morning. Jim, KG887.
73 to you, Mike. Thanks for joining the radio fun this morning, and safe travels to you. I hope you have a good day, and hope to talk with you again soon. Jerry, on one of my activations, the one where the guys from the Azores worked me, I also worked a station in western Nevada. I worked 2 stations in close to northern Minnesota, and one in Thunder Bay on the Canadian side of the lake there. Yeah, it was a pretty good day. I think with the 5 activations that I did that day, I racked up 94 contacts. I sure was tired at the end of the day, but it was a lot of fun. Over to you, Jerry. This is W8STX.
Did he know what you needed to know about the times for that park?
No, Jerry. Mike was almost as confused as I was, but he said that he was over in the Tecumseh area, and that park is not too far from him. And he said he's going to go over there and check it out, and we'll have a better idea of what the actual situation is. But the various websites that I looked at for that park, it was confusing about whether I couldn't tell whether the gates were locked or not, but I guess that the gates would be locked when the park was closed, just by the nature of what's in the park. But the question for me was, did it open in April or did it open in May? It just couldn't tell from looking at all the sites. Back to you.
Okay, well, we've been to a couple of the conferences at Dayton, and that 3-call guy,
This is W8SX. I'm not sure about those particular parks, but what I've been looking at the
Conversation
Michigan
Parks in the Air
maps for the various parks and game lands, and it looks like for the game lands many of them have some designated parking areas, and the parking areas are within the boundaries of the park. Even if there is a gate or a barrier that prevents you driving your vehicle further into the wetland, or they just want you to go in that way. So designated parking lot that on the map is within the boundaries of the group for the park. Back to you. This is W8STX.
KG887. Yeah, the park that is close to my house. It's 6 miles away. The Brownstown Prairie game land. It's the bow hunters have they just tore it up with their heavy four-wheel drive pickup, and that's why I bought this Bronco Sport, but because it's got four-wheel drive, and I also got the locking rear axle, and I went and bought on Amazon those plastic recovery. It's kind of like a 4-foot ramp thing that you put underneath the tires so you can kind of get out of a spot.
This is WSX. Well, I haven't tried any game lands yet. I'm getting ready to trade in my 2010 Prius, which has really, really, really low ground clearance for a vehicle that has much higher clearance, and it has four-wheel drive. But it's mostly going to be my wife's car, and I'll be getting her Toyota Corolla, which has a better ground clearance than the Prius, but it's not much, and so I'm not sure about the game lands. If I can't get to the game land easily by roads that aren't there aren't miles of dirt roads, and I just don't know whether I'm going to be able to work those situations or not unless I have that new vehicle that has four-wheel drive. Back to you.
Yeah, the new park that they've out by us. Actually, it's out in Milan. I think he's worked it a few times. It's K163 Crystal Water State Gameland. You can't access into that park either, but you can pull up in the driveway entrance, and there's enough room that you're like parked off the road, and you can park off to one side, and so that the gate's still accessible for the DNR to come and go. That's the way I've worked that park, and I'm sure other people have had the same situation, because the DNR doesn't let anybody into the area beyond that. Maybe there's some back parking lots to it. I'd have to go look on Google Maps and see. KG887.
This is W8SCX. I just pulled up the PDF file for the Crystal Waters State Gameland, and it does have one designated parking lot on the map, but it does front several different roads, and I can't really tell. But I've never been there. I think if I was planning on going to do an activation, I would target the parking lot as my place to set up. And usually, what I've been doing in my planning is I've been looking at the DNR maps, and then I've been looking at Google Earth and seeing if I can locate exactly where those parking lots are, and getting the coordinates. So, just keeping a log of the places I want to go if conditions are good. But, if you get there and you find out it's just full of mud and it's all torn up from other activity, well, just be out of luck at that time. I don't want to get stuck, and certainly wouldn't be prepared for mucking around in really awful conditions and then tracking up the vehicle and dealing with muddy equipment. I wouldn't want to do that. Over to you, Jerry. This is W8SCX.
Yeah, I try and use Google Maps, and you can, you can just get the GPS coordinates off of there. Yeah, it usually works out pretty good. And I've got a Garmin GPS, and I'm able to plug those in, and it'll take me there.
Well, back in the day, I did have a Garmin GPS for my car, but my app on my iPhone is good enough if I have cell coverage to get me most places, and so far so good. But I'm sure there'll come a day when I'll have a navigation failure, or I'll get someplace and I won't be able to spot myself. But that probably will be par for the course. But yeah, it's fun planning things and trying to see how you can be efficient with your time, be efficient with the gasoline that you're using to do your hobby, and rack up a few more parks. And it's looking like it's getting pretty late here, and I need to go run and do a few things. So why don't we see if anybody else wants to check in, but if we don't hear any more check-ins, let's take a 73 round and call it a day. This is W8STX.
KE8YNG, calling out Rob, just checking in. 7-3 to you two. Have a great day. Cleared.
KE8YNG, good morning, Grant. Got you in the log, in and out. Hope you have a great day, and if you're mobile, be safe out there. It's kind of messy. Over to you, Jerry. Kilo Charlie 8, Hotel Zoo.
Okay, 7-3, and safe driving there. Yeah, have a good morning. Yeah, okay, Jim, I'll let you go, and I got a couple of things. I got to start here, the washing machine and the dishwasher, and then I'm going to crash out. And hopefully I get a call this afternoon from the dealership. Tomorrow will be like 2 weeks that they've had my car for this harness for the dash cam, and like I squandered like a whole week if I could have done some POTA, and I haven't been able to do anything because my wheels are in the shop. So, oh well. 7-3, and have a good morning. KG88
73 to you, Jerry, and I hope you have a great day, and I hope you get that car back soon. It seems like way too long to be keeping a car for something like that, and I just realized that I actually didn't give Joe another chance to get in there. Joey, if you're still in there, KE4ZYQ, you might try getting in one more time. Maybe propagation has shifted in your favor. This is W8STX. This is W8SX. Well, Joe, you were no more successful that time than last time. We heard just about as much of your call as we did the first time. So I'm going to say 73 to you, and I hope you have a great day. And I hope propagation is better tomorrow. It probably will not be and maybe that will be the difference between poor propagation and good propagation. So 73 to you. Thanks for checking in. Sorry we couldn't talk with you. Break the time. And I'll thank everyone who did join in the radio fund, and that would include Wes and Eric and Bob, two Mikes, Kilo Echo 8 Whiskey November Bravo Mike, and KB8 ZFM Mike, Al, Jerry, Howard, Joe, KE4ZYQ. We have more than one Joe that have tuned in, and Grant. Good to hear everybody on the radio. And I'll thank the taxpayers of Washtenaw County for supporting emergency management, because emergency management uses this repeater, and we're happy to share it with them. This is W8STX, sign clear.
NHPUY repeater.
Well, my friends, have a great day. Wherever you are in time, if you're watching this live with us or you're watching this in the future, be good to yourselves and those around you. Take care and be well. 73.